Okay, so college life teaches us many things, but what about the habits that we do? And in college, there are many bad habits also too. So, hi everyone, I am Shruti. I am an alumni of this college. Today, joining us is the principal of this college, Professor Vajala Ravi. Great to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, your works involves around understanding pattern, and you have a background in statistics. So, from that, I would really like to congratulate you for accepting our offer. Thank you for being here. So, in the first way, to begin with, I would really ask you to define the essence of Sri Venkateswara College to someone who has never experienced it.
See, the history of Venkateswara College, it's there on the website for everybody to see. But a brief history is that it is managed by the famous Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, which is the abode of the presiding deity of this college, Lord Venkateswara. And this college was established in 1961, and it shifted to this premises in 1971. The motto of the college is education, more education, quality education, affordable education. And beyond education, we also try to preach ethical values, our own culture, heritage, and all these things to our students. And all I can say is that this college, being the academic abode of Lord Venkateswara, it not only gives students academic guidance, academic wisdom and enlightenment, it also gives a lot of positivity to the students. I have a firm belief, it is my full faith as well as belief, and I have experienced this in my life and I have seen it in my own colleagues' lives, that anybody who comes to this college will never fail in life. That is the kind of positivity that this college carries.
So you were talking about student life and education. So this project is being around Indian knowledge system IKS and its correlation with Ayurveda in today's life. So we'll be going around through that. But before that, looking at students' life over the years, what lifestyle or behavioral changes you have observed the most?
You want me to tell you about what they should be doing or what they are doing?
So that should be a comparison between what they are doing and what they're supposed to do in today's scenario. Like there has been a college shift between your time and today's generation. So we would like to have a comparison about it.
See, I'll tell you, in today's generation, there is a big shift from the traditional values and traditional setups that we have observed, we have seen in our lives. And we realize that the first thing that I can look at is you start believing more in your friends around whom you make throughout the next part of your life. But what you don't realize is that the first friend is at your home itself, which is your parents, which is your sister, brother, etc. The second set of friends that will always stay by you is your relatives. And the third set of friends are the ones which you make in school, colleges, etc., etc. Despite knowing, or maybe, maybe not knowing all these things, people are oblivious. Students, young generation is oblivious to the first and second definition of friends. They are more towards the third definition of friends. In case of any adversity, I have seen, I have realized, I have experienced that the one who stand by you are the ones who are actually the ones who are attached to you in your relations. Yes. Mother, father, relatives, etc. Friends do come to you. I'm not negating the impact of friends in your life, but yes, the first set of people who come to your rescue is your parents and nearby relatives. The Gen Z, the current generation, has somehow distanced itself from their relatives, and they are more into making up artificial relationships, either in person or mostly through social media. The best friend of today's generation is mobile, the social media, and whatsoever artificial gratification that they derive from these different sites. So, friendship, I mean, that's one thing which I notice is a big difference between this generation and the previous generation. The second thing that I note is that this generation is more about keeping themselves away from sunlight. And when you talk about Ayurveda, when you talk about medicinal science, when you talk about anything, I mean, psychological behaviors, etc., the one that cures you in every possible way is sunlight. You tend to hide from sunlight these days in the garb of staying indoors. You look at the present day homes, present day setups. There we, despite having so many windows in your room, you will put curtains over all the windows so that the natural light stops entering into your room, and then you'll have so many lights in your very own room, in which you will want light but you don't want natural light. So you are basically creating an artificial surroundings around you. You're staying away from the naturality. If you look around in this room, maybe you can show, we do have a lot of natural light coming into the room, and we have draped the windows in such a way that we are not curbing the natural light, but we are also stopping excess of natural light. So bask in sunlight, get a lot of sunlight. It will cure you from a lot of physical ailments as well as mental imbalances. So curbing sunlight is the second thing that I notice in the current generation. The third major shift is that we are not rooted to our traditions. See, every country, every state, every geographic area has its own identity. We somehow tend to lose our own identity in terms of where we belong from, what is our culture, etc. We definitely keep praising other person's culture, other person's things, other person's identity, but we never at all talk about our own identity. So there is a kind of an identity crisis among these kind of students. I call this crisis, which they call as openness and globalization. It's actually crisis. You first praise, the first person whom you should praise is yourself, and then you start praising rest of the world. So, I mean, if I keep speaking, there will be many other things. The fourth major thing is we are keeping ourselves away from greenery. A lot of things that nature offers us. Nature has a solution for everything in this universe, each and everything. And nature means it is respecting your surroundings. It is, and let me tell you, nature provides everything for the use of humankind. What we do is we use it, we overuse it, we exploit it, and we ensure that we are only the users but we are never the creators. So you use it and you create it, and therefore you sustain nature. We are basically somehow becoming destroyers of nature. So like this, there are many other things, I think, which differentiate between the current generation and the previous few generations.
Absolutely, sir. But this project also talks about inculcating these benefits into NEP, National Education Policy 2020. So, how do you think we can bring out these changes in students through our college? We have greenery in our college. I see that earthen pot you're using here, and obviously the window panes are open for sunlight to come in. How do you motivate students to bring into that in their life? And should it be a part of curriculum into this college so that many students can learn about it more?
Indeed, things, good habits never come by habit, they come by force. And I can relate to myself, and maybe each one of you can relate to yourself. From our birth till maybe class 12th, our academics, we are studying not for ourselves, we are studying because our parents wants us to study. And why do parents want us to study? Is because they want us to become good human being, good citizen. They want to inculcate good etiquettes, good habit in us. And all this comes from education. So what our parents realize and what we also realize at a later stage is that education is good for us. And somebody forcing us at right time ensured that our remaining life is comfortable and full of good things for ourselves, people around us, surroundings, nation, and the globe as a whole. Similarly, when we talk about the good practices that we preached, that have to be preached, it has to come by force. It will never come to you naturally. And what comes to you by force is what is preached in educational institutions, either in schools or colleges. Thankfully, the government of India had a vision to preach these kind of goodies to force these kind of goodies down the throat, so that people realize they will definitely realize at some later stage that this was a good thing that they learned. They came up with the National Education Policy 2020, and the curriculum, the course structure, the kind of papers that are offered, the kind of diversity in the papers that are offered ensures that a student who comes to a college goes out as a properly broomed individual.
So
Groomed,
do,
sorry, not broomed, groomed.
so do you think that Ayurvedic topics, the Ayurgenomics, this paper should be made compulsory in college as a part of additional subject or something like that?
Indeed, Ayurveda, and when we talk about Ayurveda, we also talk about Indian knowledge systems, etc. It should definitely be a compulsory component in our curriculum. Unknowingly, we keep using Ayurveda for our day in and day out things, right? For example, if you look at the South Indian food habits, the end point of every South Indian meal is a curd rice. So people may ridicule, people may say anything about it, but we know that curd has got all those useful bacteria which will help in digestion. Curd has also got a property where it will keep your body temperature regulated. So unknowingly we are using Ayurveda here. Similarly, supposing we get a bruise, for example, we get a cut or we get a bruise. I can relate to my own generation where the first thing that we did was we used to take out our sputum and put it on the bruise. So that was again Ayurveda, because our sputum consists of acids which are also known to have healing capacity, at least controlling or regulating the bruise. So these are small things which we have been using for generations, and without knowing that they are actually a part of one of the biggest, I should say, copyright of our Indian culture, that is Ayurveda. And yes, the present generation has gone for easy and quick cure for everything, and therefore we are somehow distancing ourselves from Ayurveda. But what we need to realize is that if we know Ayurveda, we won't even be needing those English medicines, because there is very rare occasion when we'll actually fall ill. So Ayurveda gives you a good health and good lifestyle, whereas all the other things, the English medicine, all these things give a cure to you when you fall ill. So why should you fall ill at all?
Correct. So you truly blended my project into your words without me defining it. Actually, one of the aspects or objective of my project was to inculcate and know this regional food habits. Like you mentioned, the curd rice being eaten in South India, and in North India, we consume buttermilk during summers as a part of food habit, that seasonal food habit, I would like to say. So Ayurveda also mentions that prevention is better than cure. So how do you see that balance of body and mind and stress is in the between students is there? And I mean, how do you see that students are refraining from this thing, that prevention is better than cure, and they are directing towards allopathic more? What are the reasons?
So the reason is they keep themselves in artificial world more than ever, right? They are wanting a quick remedy for everything. They don't have time for anything in this world. They don't have time to give themselves a good dose of exercise the first thing when they wake up in the morning. Despite not being a very young gun, but I do ensure that every morning I wake up early. I give myself around 1.5 years of exercise, a good intense exercise. I eat at the almost at the right times throughout the day. I don't eat a lot of junk food. Maybe once in a week I do happen to do that, but generally I keep my diet really strong. And I am in an institution which has a lot of positivity. So that, if I am unwell, I just appeal to Lord Venkateswara saying that, oh God, I am unwell today, maybe I cannot serve you today. He says, don't worry, my kid, I'll cure you just now, and you have to serve my institution. And that's how he gives me strength, he gives me all the powers, he gives me all the energy to work for him. And when we say this energy is a divine intervention, I would say this energy is something which we get from Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not only about jadi bootiyan and deriving something from plant derivatives, etc., etc. Ayurveda is also about channelizing your energy. There is a lot of energy in your body. You will need to channelize them.
Correct.
You need to have intense faith in something, and that faith will always be rewarding.
So, what kind of academic or co-curricular model can make such knowledge more accessible to students, and what role can a college campus may play in shaping students' awareness about health and lifestyle, including Ayurveda?
See, now that I am speaking to you, I have got this brilliant idea, which I'll share with the teacher coordinator as well. We do have a kind of a setup under our undergraduate curriculum, which has been given to us by the National Education Policy. But I think just when I'm speaking to you, I realize that we do have a medical room in the college. We have a fully qualified MBBS and higher qualified doctor here. We have a counselor here. Maybe we can also look at having some kind of an Ayurvedic practitioner in our medical room. That is one way in which we can give choice to the students whether they want to go to the English medicine doctor or whether they want to go to the Ayurvedic medicine doctor. Secondly, these doctors may also be told to keep counseling the students that you come to us when you suffer an ailment. Why don't you come to us regularly so that we can keep counseling you about what needs to be done, what does not have to be done in your life. And I'm not being critical about the English medicines, etc., because I know that for myself, if there's something wrong with me, the first thing I do is I pop up a crocin or a cetirizine kind of a pill. But yes, everything has its own positives, its own negatives, and we need to keep counseling our students either through the setups that we have or in the classrooms, or we could have more of Ayurvedic plantations in your college. I must tell you, we have good Ayurvedic. We have a Vajradanti inside and outside the college. We have a lot of plants with medicinal values also inside the college. So we should maybe teach our students, and we should maybe put pamphlets around each and every one of those plants saying that this plant is of this particular medicinal use.
So, how important is a multidisciplinary approach when connecting Indian traditional knowledge with modern education?
See, multidisciplinary approach is the best thing that could have happened to the students of today's generation, because you need to you are sailing in different boats altogether. You need to build a career for yourself. You need to learn a lot of things. You need to know how to keep yourself fit. You need to be physically exercising every now and then. You need to enhance your skill sets every now and then. You need not be boss in your own subject. You could be a boss in some other subjects also. When we look at all these different dimensions put together, then the only thing that maybe guides you is the multidisciplinary setup which our current curriculum offers.
Okay, so sir, what role might tools like data analysis or technology play in interpreting the traditional knowledge systems today? Because you being the masters in stats.
See, I am a statistician myself, and everything that you see, everything that you believe these days is coming out from a trend. The trend or from the past experience. When we talk about astrology, astrologers कहते हैं कि हाथ में ये लकीर है तो आपके साथ ये हो सकता है. How did you know that this line in your hand is relating to this particular aspect of your life? So they have seen the palms of people over different ages and generations. They have realized that a particular line, a particular kind of a structure in your hand is associated with these symptoms. They have documented it pretty well. So those documents, so it's basically a kind of data analysis without actually thinking of collecting a data, using some tool to analyze the data. It is their own mind which is working as a computer which is trying to analyze this data. Those were the times when we didn't have many tools, many subjects, many computers maybe to interpret or to analyze this kind of data. We have all those in the current generation. So we collect a lot of data. And what do we do with this data? We have to amalgamate this data with appropriate statistics to come out with proper results. When you have volumes of data, calculations cannot be done manually. So that is where your computers come to a picture. So collect data, use computers to implement appropriate statistical tools on the data, come out with conclusions, and don't let these conclusions stay with you. Please publicize your conclusions either through research articles, either through word of mouth, either through newspaper articles, etc., so that if you have found a benefit, that benefit should not stay with you. The benefit has to reach the world so that everybody is benefited.
Right. So
Ultimately, we want a world which is hale and healthy.
right. So I would like to bring some stories from your personal experience where you might have had some early routine habits from your life which impacted you in long run or maintaining your discipline. If you would like to share something.
See, just like I spoke about number one, two, three, four, I value my relations. I expose myself to a lot of sunlight, and maybe from being a South Indian, we cannot avoid sunlight much, and that is the reason why our skin color is not as bright as the North Indians. And number one, I carry, so I value my relations. I praise myself first, and then I praise the world, and I expose myself to sunlight. I do wake up early every morning. I do exercise, and I have a healthy lifestyle. I have healthy eating habits, even if I eat unhealthy, because I do exercise. I have full confidence in myself that I'll be able to digest everything. My what should I say? My incoming and outgoing are very well balanced. Nature has been really kind to me in that sense, and I carry positive thoughts all along. I never have any negatives against anybody. My only prayers when I do visit temple, because that is how we can relate ourselves to our culture, and that is the place where, if I can obviously pray at home, but if I had to go to temple and pray, then I need to put that extra effort.
Right.
So God simply asks us, are you willing to put that extra effort to reach me?
Correct.
I am there everywhere, but are you willing to put that extra effort? Yes, I am willing to. I go to temple, that means I have firm belief and faith in my culture. I pray for the welfare of mankind. I have never asked anything for myself or my family. I can vouch for that. I will only ask for the welfare of this whole mankind. So, which means that my overall thinking about what prayers, etc., mean are in order.
So when we talk about food and college life, recently there's an examination going on across schools and colleges. So we see students in stress and they're munching around canteen food. So I think canteen should be also shifted towards Ayurvedic food, or maybe have some healthy food options for students.
See, I'll tell you, when I was a kid, my mom used to tell me कि तू अभी छोटा है, तू लोहा खाएगा वो भी डाइजेस्ट कर लेगा, पत्थर खाएगा वो भी डाइजेस्ट कर लेगा, और बड़ा होने के बाद तू सिंपलेस्ट फूड खाएगा वो भी डाइजेस्ट नहीं कर पाएगा. So when we talk about canteen is something which should offer a lot of variety. Yes, students and kids have very, very healthy food at their homes, and occasionally they should also be given an option of having maybe not so healthy food. I'm not saying unhealthy food, I'm saying not so healthy food, because what they get at home is very neat, clean, hygiene, full of hygiene, and what they get outside may not be as good hygiene as what they get in their home. And you need to be exposed to such a setup in order to differentiate yourself what is good and what is bad. Right? So therefore, and in the canteen also, we try our level best to ensure good levels of hygiene. I personally go to the canteen, quite often. I go inside, I check their surroundings. Every 2 days, 3 days, one day, I visit the hostel, especially in the night time. I interact with kids. I ask them how the food is. I taste the food there myself. And whenever I get complaints, I do indulge in these practices. I keep speaking to kids. There are 150 kids in the hostel, for example. Somebody says there is excess oil. Another kid says they use very little oil. Somebody says that they don't have masala. Somebody says that they give us steamed food. Somebody says there's lots of salad. So 150 kids have 150 different needs.
Right.
And if I give them healthy food is nothing but steamed food. Without any spices, without anything. Will you like to have healthy food for yourself?
Sometimes I would, yeah.
Sometimes healthy food, and most of the times not so healthy.
Maybe
food.
a balanced meal.
A balanced meal.
Yeah.
So that is how it is about with the kids in the college also. They needs to have balanced meal, and so we'll have to balance it out.
Correct,
So it's a
sir.
mix of everything out here. But we do keep a careful check on the health and hygiene, the quality of food. Also, our water coolers are cleaned at least once every week. The cleaning requires a lot of water, it gets wasted. But yes, we clean each and every water cooler of ours. We ensure that the water coolers are free from any bacteria or any such deposits. We clean them once a week, and I particularly monitor all these things.
So how does this big universities like DU and colleges can ensure this awareness about IKS and Ayurveda to students and college life?
You need to speak more about all these things amongst your friends. As an educational institution, as teachers, we will obviously teach all these things as a part of your curriculum, but you need to how do you propagate things. Every student needs to speak more about what their learnings are. In statistics, we call it as snowball samplings. You know how snowball forms?
No, sir.
It starts from the top of a mountain. It's snow starts rolling down,
Yeah.
and in that part of rolling down, it just keeps collecting snow around, and it becomes a big snowfall, and it gradually translates to an avalanche.
Right.
So that is snowball sampling. Means it is a kind of an information spread through propagation. So I, as a person, I learn from some information. I don't keep it to myself. I start keep speaking to my friends about that. My friends also start speaking more about this information to their friends. जिसको आप मार्केटिंग में भी कहते हैं ना, मल्टी लेवल मार्केटिंग, तो हम स्टेटिस्टिक्स में उसे स्नोबॉल सैम्पलिंग कहते हैं.
Okay.
और मल्टी लेवल मार्केटिंग somehow it appears a negative kind of a term, because we would always want to avoid that.
Right.
But snowball sampling is a positive term.
Right. So if we have a quick rapid fire. So one habit students should build early in life.
Wake up early and exercise.
Prevention or cure.
Prevention.
Discipline or flexibility in daily life.
Both.
Both. Why?
Because for incorporating discipline, you need to be flexible as well. Right? For example, I am the principal of this college. I have to ensure that all classes happen on time, all teachers come on time, every student go into every class. But at the same time, if they don't go, what do I do? In order to incorporate, in order to ensure discipline, should I fail all those students who don't go to class?
No.
So I have to be flexible. Also. I am a counselor to them. I am their father. Yeah. I'm not that strict headmaster. I'm not a taskmaster. I'm not that ringmaster in the circus who will ensure कि डंडा मार के मुझे ये काम कराना है. So discipline with a lot of flexibility.
Okay. So sir, on the conclusion, what message would you like to give to students about maintaining balanced life in their lifestyle?
Exercise a lot, expose yourself to a lot of sunlight, respect your relations, be sincere to whatever you're doing. Wake up in the morning with lots of positivity. Don't think negative about anybody. Trust your Indian culture, Indian knowledge systems more than anybody else. Trust Ayurveda.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this discussion and a healthy discussion. And to all those who are watching, I would really like to say health is not just being healthy, it's mentally and being stressful. And that's how health is being defined according to Ayurveda and general life sciences. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you so much, sir.